Everyone, my name is Sarah Fisher, and here is my final for Con 640 regarding the intake of Robert Downey Jr. So, our client today is Robert Downey Jr. He is a 35-year-old white non Hispanic male. He was recently released early from a 3-year prison sentence. Past legal issues started mainly in June of 1996 when he was arrested for speeding and driving intoxicated. He was in the possession of cocaine, heroin, and an unlicensed firearm at this time. He was then placed on a 3-year probationary period with mandated drug testing, but failed to report for a drug test in 1997. This led to a probation being revoked and a 6 months jail sentence, and was later arrested in 1999. Robert Downey Jr. was also recently released from the California Substance Abuse Treatment Facility and has other prior experience in treatment facilities and therapy. Robert was seen on June 10th, 2000 for an intake and is currently seeking ongoing treatment for his substance addiction. So, based on the intake information gathered, Robert Downey Jr. has a substance use disorder, with the primary concern being cocaine use disorder, secondary being heroin, and the tertiary being alcohol. In the intake, Downey stated that his cocaine and heroin use started later in his life, around the mid 1990s. However, alcohol use was reported in his early teens. Downey also admits that marijuana exposure and use started at around age 6. Developmentally, Robert Downey Jr. was influenced by the entertainment industry at a very young age. He grew up around the industry due to his parents' work. He was also in the public spotlight early on himself, landing his first role at age 5. Therefore, his childhood environment was the entertainment industry, which is notably known for its normalization of drug use, alcohol use, and high demands on individuals. Robert Downey Jr.'s own exposure to substances also started at a young age. At age 6, he reports that his dad introduced him to marijuana as a bonding experience. He also reports using other substances with his dad, especially after his parents divorced at age 12. Then at age 16, he dropped out of high school to pursue his career full time. Therefore, he has a powerful combination of external factors that play a role in his early development. Culturally, Robert Downey Jr. was also influenced by the entertainment industry at a very young age. The entertainment industry, as previously mentioned, is often associated with its parties, underage drinking, and drug use. It seems to be more of a social norm for this cultural environment. It is also important to note that the entertainment industry places high demands on individuals. This could potentially lead individuals to seek some sort of escape. This escape could often come in the form of drugs or alcohol. Finally, there may have been some peer pressure from others in the entertainment industry, also from his dad, to engage in these behaviors. In regard to addictive behaviors impacting our client, Robert Downey Jr. reports physically he is experiencing insomnia, weight loss due to poor appetite, and headaches. Mentally, he reports outbursts of agitation or aggression. He also reports that he has been feeling with anxiety and depression on and off his whole life. His overall quality of life seems to be struggling as he is having relationship issues with those close to him. He reports his wife, Deborah, requesting a separation. This separation is also affecting his relationship with his son, Indigo. These relationship issues have caused him significant distress. Robert Downey Jr. also reports issues with his career, notably his ability to land and keep roles. He also has concerns regarding the quality of his work produced due to his addictive behaviors. So, in regards to his current support system, Robert Downey Jr. does seem to be struggling. As mentioned on our previous slide, he reports a limited support system at this time with his wife, who made the decision to file for separation. Robert Downey Jr. also reports a limited support from his dad due to the past substance use experience and traumas regarding that. He also limited number of friends that he feels supported by with his recovery. Having this limited support system is greatly impacting Robert Downey Jr.'s addictive behavior. It's my recommendation that he join some sort of support group, perhaps a 12-step program or group therapy. Group therapy, in particular, would be important to help Robert Downey Jr., providing him a place with support, structure, and accountability among group members. This could also help with feelings of isolation that he may be experiencing. As with all clients, there are some relevant ethical and legal considerations to have when working with Robert Downey Jr. Um, we want to look at his past system involvement, HIPAA, and confidentiality concerns, as well as current separation with his wife. When looking at past arrest and legal proceedings, parole violations have been an issue. As Downey is currently out on parole, the courts may ask for documentation of recovery or attendance sessions. It's also important to keep in mind how past legal proceedings have affected him, and we need to keep in mind how that might future impact him in sessions. There could also be a potential issue regarding the separation with his wife, Deborah. If separation moves towards divorce, notes may be requested to determine if Downey is a fit to have partial custody of his son or if supervised visitations are still in the best interest of the child. Overall, here, the key factor of protecting client rights and abiding by HIPAA standards when working with Downey. While documentation is relevant to the court proceedings, it would be important to ensure that confidentiality has not been breached unless there is an immediate duty to warn or protect. With looking at the models of addiction, I found that two highlight Robert Downey Jr.'s experiences thus far. The first being the family model. Here, family members are said to impact the individual's desire to seek treatment towards sobriety, or if the individual refrained from making those steps. As previously mentioned, Robert Downey Jr.'s father introduced him to substances at a young age, and there seems to be no goal of sobriety for his dad growing up. Therefore, he could have refrained from seeking treatment at first as well. The other model of interest is the social culture model. Here, we would look at the overlap between social and context and the culture that could have impacted addiction. Robert Downey Jr. grew up in a culture that seemed to support the use of substances, not only with his dad, but within the entertainment industry. There is a more relaxed notion regarding substances, drinking, parties, etc. Than many adolescent actors and actresses fall into this. The entertainment industry is also known for its high stress level and peer pressure, which could have been a contributing factor toward his addictions. Finally, when looking at treatment methods for Robert Downey Jr., I landed on two: cognitive behavioral therapy and family therapy. When deciding on CBT, I specifically looked at Robert Downey Jr.'s social cultural considerations. I think it'd be important for Downey to learn how to recognize the signs and situations that lead him to engage in his cocaine use, which seems to be somewhat related to his fame in the celebrity culture. Once those signs or situations have been recognized, Downey and I could work together to create a plan on how to avoid or use coping skills. And when he is having those urges, for example, if he engaged in cocaine use primarily at clubs, we could work towards avoiding clubs or actively using those coping skills when he goes there. However, I also think that there's a unique opportunity for family therapy to be beneficial here, especially with his wife, Deborah. These sessions could focus on rebuilding their relationship, increasing communication, providing education related to addiction. It's my hope that these sessions would foster a better support system for Downing as well. I also think it would be important to eventually include other family members, for example, his dad, to help work through any trauma or past experiences that they have regarding substance use that may have led to his addiction. So that is my project for Robert Downey Jr. Um, Overall, I enjoyed greatly doing this experience. I feel like I have learned a lot about myself personally and professionally. I'd say my biggest takeaway from this experience is that all clients are going to have unique circumstances surrounding their lives and their addictions. So, keeping in mind that no two people you work with are going to be the same, and there are going to be aspects that are different. Therefore, it'd be important to make sure that the treatment that is used is different and based upon the client that you are working with. Therapy is not a one size fits all shop, and we should not treat it as such. The second biggest takeaway I have is never believing or creating biases that those in active addiction can't recover. Admittedly, this is something I've struggled with in the past due to my own family history of addiction, but it's something I am working towards to change. Like, I bet many people didn't even know that Robert Downey Jr. struggled with addiction. I know I personally did not until I searched people for this project. I always just thought of him as Iron Man. Therefore, as future counselors, we need to be supportive of our clients. Like the saying says, fall 7 times, get up 8. Another takeaway I had is just enjoying learning about a famous person more in depth. I think it highlights the fact that although this person may be more famous than me, they still have traumas and setbacks in their life, and you never really know what a person is going through. And this is definitely an example of that. Then finally, I also really enjoyed the treatment considerations discussion post we did. I did not know much about cocaine addiction before starting this project, and I found it very interesting that there is no approved medications for cocaine addiction, but there are some for other addictions. So it just proves that there is still a lot of way. Then the following 3 slides are my references for this project. Thank you for watching.